My name is Lori Blake. I'm with the City of San Antonio in the Finance Department Purchasing Division. And today's presentation is going to be on how to respond to an RFP, RFQ, or RFCSP. The City of San Antonio utilizes competitive procurement methods, allowing the city to consider factors other than price when selecting a firm for award. These can be factors such as qualifications, experience, project approach, innovations, and creativity. These are known as discretionary solicitations. The types of solicitations are the request for proposals, the request for qualifications, and the request for competitive seal proposals. We'll start off with the request for proposals. That's procurement of consulting and other professional services. That's when the RFP is normally used. The RFQ, the request for qualifications, is a procurement when the selection is based on competence and qualifications, not price. And this is mostly done with your analysis or the strategic planning contracts that the city has. We then have the request for competitive seal proposals, and those are for the procurement of goods or non-professional services. Such contracts can be landscaping contracts or janitorial services contracts, and the IT department also uses the request for competitive seal proposals for technology contracts. There are certain solicitation elements that are key components of the RFP, RFQ, and RFCSP. These are listed here. Your proposal requirements with all the attachments and exhibits, the pre-submittal conference, your site visit. We normally do have a pre-submittal conference. The submission of proposals and the proposal requirements are pretty similar. Then we do have a restriction on communication. Your evaluation criteria is very important, and of course I'll actually go into that in the award of the contract and the contract term. So how many years or for how long is it going to be issued, or is it just for one project? And then, of course, the schedule of events, which will show that the proposal opening date, the closing date, and the deadline for questions. Then we have the evaluation criteria. As I said, that I would go into that. We've got in the evaluation criteria the proposed plan, the experience, background, and qualifications, and the price schedule. In addition, there's also the SBETA, or Small Business Economic Development Advocacy Preference Program. If it's applicable to the specific solicitation, then that will be part of the evaluation criteria. There's also the Local Preference Program, again, if that's applicable, and then the Veteran-Owned Small Business Preference Program, again, if applicable. We kind of have short names for these: SBETA for your preference, Small Business Economic Development Advocacy, Local Preference, and then Veteran-Owned Small Business, we just refer to that as VOSB. Some other solicitation elements I wanted to go through were the proposal and the submission requirements. These are necessary documents, the general information form and 3 references, the contract disclosure and litigation disclosure forms, the certificate of interested parties, the pricing or the compensation schedule. Then we've got our signature page and a proposal checklist. And again, if the SBETA forms, if SBETA is applicable, we'll ask for those forms as well. And then, of course, the local preference and the VOSB preference program forms also. Normally, the city does request the general information. These can be These can range from questions such as your formal name of your business, maybe your tax ID and other information. And we normally do request that you submit 3 reference letters. I'd like to go over how to maximize your points. The experience, background, and qualifications is normally 20 to 30 points. If it's requested by the city, your EBQ, for short, experience, background, and qualifications, should include key personnel and their resumes, the time that the staff will be assigned to the project, and then make sure to include and be specific on the team structure and the strengths. Be specific about the past experience and don't generalize. The proposed plan is normally also worth 20 to 30 points. And again, if it's requested, be sure to show that you've got a clear understanding of the needs to obtain the target goals. Address your requirements and show your deliverables. And then basically you are trying to propose and sell your solution plan. So you should try and sell yourself, basically. Another part is the pricing and compensation schedule. That's normally worth 15 to 20 points also. With the pricing schedule, be specific, and if the city is not asking for a price range, then don't place price ranges in the pricing schedule. Be specific. If we want one price, then only submit one price. Pay attention to the formatting. Non-conformance to the price schedule may negatively impact your score. So if the city is not requesting it, then don't place that in there. Propose your price according to the schedule. Unless we request it, don't place an alternative price. If we are allowing vendors to place options, then those would need to be priced or noted separately. With regards to the SBETA, local preference, and VOSB, the points will vary by the procurement type and the industry category. You should always refer to the solicitation because these points are going to be program specific. So the solicitation will state on there how many points are being allotted to each of these. The SBETA can be up to 20 points. The local preference can be up to 10 points. And the VOSB is 5 points. This last slide is basically some best practices for a successful response and don'ts. Make sure that you read the RFP and understand the element and scoring. Don't ignore the terms and conditions or the requirements of the RFP, and don't ignore the scoring criteria. Show that you understand the needs of the RFP, what the city's requesting, and how your strategies and abilities will meet them. Stress those areas as well as your company's strengths and your solution. Follow the city's requested format. Don't ignore format requirements, and make sure that your proposal is professional looking. That's very important. Be specific and don't generalize or use template-like responses. And of course, don't forget to proofread the response. Stay informed, and if you don't know something, please ask questions. Don't make assumptions, and don't circumvent the point of contact. Lastly, be on time and submit your response on time. Don't be late because no one's going to be waiting for you. If the response states that if the solicitation response time deadline is at 11 o'clock, make sure that you submit no later than 11 o'clock. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. The address, phone number, and our email address is listed on this slide. And the best way to reach us would probably be by email, perchweb@sanantonio.gov. Thank you very much.